he got busted with 1.5 pounds of crystal meth. What's up, guys? My name is Levi. This is Shred Shop, connecting you to skateboarding, and today we're doing nines. 9 skaters who've been arrested. Remember, if you like our content, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, even cuss me out in the comments below. I do not care, but do not leave this video without messing with us some way. It's the best way for us to keep giving you the content that you love. Let's get into it. Jereme Rogers. Jereme Rogers has been arrested a few times over the years. Most notably, he spent 3 months in jail for an assault charge after a fight in a nightclub. In this certain instance, he got charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Get this, what was the weapon? His shoe. At the time, he probably was riding for DVS. If you guys have seen DVS on the shoe wall, they make a shoe called the Militia. It's about as heavy as a brick. If he cracked me in the face with one of those, boom, I'm going down. Although that was the time that got him in probably the most hot water with the law, our favorite was his naked rooftop incident. Basically, he was naked in the hallways, smashing paintings in the Murray Hill Hotel. In this case, they say he got charged with criminal mischief and his bail was set at $75,000. In 2009, he also got arrested for being naked on the roof of a hotel, saying he was the son of God, preaching to the sky. But hey, he didn't end up in jail for either of the 2 naked incidents. Apparently the cops just like his naked butt a little bit too much to charge him for it. Either way, sounds like he had a good time throughout his life as a pro skateboarder. Live your life. Andy Roy. Andy was pro for Antihero, and he ended up getting injured while skateboarding. From there, his skateboard career started to dismantle. Because of that, he started to get into a life of drugs and became a heroin addict eventually. This addiction eventually led to petty crimes, theft charges, and some drug-related charges. From there, in the late 90s, he ended up going to jail in Pelican Bay, which is a supermax jail in California, and it's known to have the most violent and gnarly inmates from all around. After getting out, he ended up cleaning up his act, getting back on Antihero, and started a skateboard career again. Brandon Turner. Brandon Turner was a skater from the legendary brand Shorty Skateboards. He rode for them when it was Peter Smolik, Chad Muska, Sammy Baptista, and Steve Olson. So basically, he was a member of the heyday of shorties. This was a big deal back in the day. Because he was basically famous, he ended up partying a ton. After partying too much, he kind of gets lost in the sauce, gets 2 DUIs, and ends up serving 17 months in prison. At that time, he sobers up and he starts focusing on himself, living healthy. After getting out of jail and getting back into skateboarding, he cleans himself up, he starts riding for Skate Mafia. He's got a few parts with them that are standout parts or breakout parts. They're so good. And then from there, he's still ripping. In the year 2020, just last year, he's awarded SLS's Trick of the Year. He wins $10,000 for, get this, at age 39, eating healthy, taking care of himself. He switch hard flips Wallenberg. Bam Margera. Bam Margera is obviously known for doing a ton of crazy stuff, from CKY to Jackass, bunch of crazy stuff, fame, all that. But in 2011, his best friend, Ryan Dunn, dies in a car accident. And from there, it seems like things start to fall apart. He gets arrested on a few different charges, from trespassing to DUIs. He's been in and out of rehab over the years. And unfortunately, it's kind of was announced, the news gotten around, that he might not be in the newest Jackass video, which he doesn't seem too happy about. I wouldn't be either. But honestly, it's just kind of sad because he's such an amazing person going through something that a lot of people struggle with. He's had his ups and downs over the years. He's even reached out to Dr. Phil for some help, and he seemed to be doing okay for a little bit there. But our heart goes out to him. Honestly, it sucks. We hope that one day that he'll be able to feel himself, get sober, and we want to see him back on a skateboarder. He's one of the most talented dudes you've ever seen. Christian Hosoi. Back in the 80s, Christian Hosoi was arguably the biggest name in skateboarding at the time. Definitely on par, at least, with Tony Hawk. He had his own brand called Hosoi Skateboards. Over the years, he had a few run-ins with the law, but he was still kind of a household name in skateboarding. He was huge. But eventually, in the year 2000, in the Honolulu airport, he got busted with 1.5 pounds of crystal meth. He was charged with trafficking with the intent to distribute, and he was charged to 10 years. He served only 4 years of his 10-year sentence, and he was out in 2004. Since leaving prison in 2004, he straightened his life out, became a born-again Christian, a pastor by the urging of his wife and her uncle, and since then has came back in full force in skateboarding. He still has his Hosoi board brand, and he's a pro skateboarder for Vans. If you guys want to know more about his story, you can check out his documentary, The Rising Sun. Nigel Houston. I guarantee that you know who Nigel Houston is. He's the person that's extremely proud of himself, patting himself on the back when he wins every street league that's ever been won, ever. He's also the one who reintroduced short shorts into skateboarding. I actually love Nigel. Some of the people in our circles maybe don't as much, but he's gotten some trouble with the law too. One of the times, in 2017, he punched a dude in the face. Probably they were pissed at each other. Well, anyways, they ended up settling out of court, and so he didn't get charged with anything. Also, during the peak of the pandemic, the LA police force said that he was holding huge parties that were potential COVID-19 super spreader events. So he got charged for that. All they could really do was charge him with a misdemeanor of disturbing the peace, but the county kind of got together and they brainstormed some ideas to stop these super spreader events, and one of their ideas was to cut off the power to his home. Cold little old Nigel, all by himself, naked up in his bedroom with no blankets, no heat in his house. Moving on, Chad Muska. Chad Muska doesn't really need an introduction, but if you guys don't know who he is, you are clueless. He is my favorite skateboarder. He is legendary. He invented the zipper weed pouch on your shoes. He has been pro for Circa, S, Supra. He was the main dude on Shorties, and he rode for Element for a while. The dude is legendary. As well, he hung out with a ton of celebs, as well as dated Paris Hilton. In June of 2011, he was out tagging, graffitiing, and he was arrested for vandalism and graffiti. Unfortunately, he didn't really use an alias when he was tagging, so he was tagging Muska on a bunch of stuff. As well as the Hollywood Theater, on a window, he graffitied Muska Kills. Unfortunately, he signed his name, and he's so famous, you can find him anywhere he's at. TMZ reported after that his bail was set at $20,000. Mark the Gator Rogowski. He was a huge pro skater in the 80s and the early 90s. He was a huge name at that time next to Steve Cab, Tony Hawk, Christian Hosoi, big name. At one point, vert became less popular and the trend moved more towards street skateboarding. Some of the skaters could keep up and they could adapt. For him, unfortunately, he wasn't able to adapt as well. And so his career started to shrink back a bit, as well with his fame. During this time, one day, one of his girlfriend's friends, who happened to be one of his old friends, approached him and said, "Hey, can you show me around San Diego?" But then she was reported missing, never being seen after that time. After that day, he comes out and he admits some stuff happened and he ended up killing her and burying her body out in the desert. Under California law, with all the things he was charged with, he was actually up for the death penalty. He ended up pleading guilty, which got him out of the death penalty, but he was sentenced to 31 years to life. He's had parole come up a few times and been denied each time. His next parole hearing is in 2023. Who knows if he'll get it. If you want to learn more about this, there's a documentary on his life called Stoked, The Rise and Fall of Gator. Check it out. And finally, Antoine Dixon. Baker 3. You guys ever heard of it? In 2005, Antoine Dixon bursts onto the scene with one of the most insane parts in that video. Guess how old he was? 16. Better than all of you watching this. He filmed the entire part in 3 months. He also had a part in Baker Has a Death Wish. Also, he rode for Crew, Death Wish, and he had a pro model shoe on Supra, which is a huge deal. In 2008, he was arrested in Tampa, Florida for possession of marijuana for under 20 grams, with cocaine for intent to sell, and he had battery on all 3 officers that tried to arrest him. He didn't go down easy. In 2013, he ended up having to start a 3-year sentence for violating his probation on his charges for battery and vandalism. He's had run-ins with the law over the years, but he's back at it, back skateboarding. We hope he's doing well. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Tell us who we missed. But keep in mind, some people's stories maybe shouldn't be retold. Also, let us know what video should we do next and where are you guys watching from. Guys, I'm Levi, this is Shred Shop, and this was Nines. 9 skaters who've been arrested. Stay tuned for comment of the week. Oh! Spicy one comment of the week. This is it. It's my guy. My house has wheels. He says, I am convinced It's written in all caps. I am convinced that Levi has a scooter sponsor me tape out there somewhere, period. My house has wheels. You are the one that has 2 wheels on your dumb scooter, you grom. I'm just kidding, my house has wheels. You're probably awesome. Okay, peace.